I'm super excited about today's video. I have been wanting to redo some furniture pieces for quite some time, and honestly, I have just procrastinated because I have been afraid to mess them up. But no more. Today we are taking the leap and we are gonna start on the first of 4 major projects that I'm hoping to get accomplished this winter. Since the garden has slowed down, I have some time to do some other things, so I'm gonna take you guys along with me. So I got this piece a few years ago from our local Habitat for Humanity. If you have one that is near you, they are an excellent place to source furniture. I have very little luck on Facebook Marketplace. I think I just really don't have the patience for it. And so I tend to find my pieces either at thrift stores or at our local Habitat for Humanity. And ours is just amazing. They often get a lot of new furniture, and I believe this was actually brand new when I purchased it, but I was able to get it at a discount. I liked the look. The red really doesn't go with my decor, and so I'm looking forward to getting rid of that today. And then also, you can see here, I had some Christmas lights, like the really big bulb lights on here, and they were not LEDs, and so they actually burned the top of this. So we're gonna try to sand this down and stain it a little bit darker just so that I can try to hide that. And then also I'm going to be using chalk paint for the very first time in my life. We're going to get rid of the red, we're gonna change out the knobs, and we're just going to make it look a little bit more like an antique piece, and then also to just go along with my decor. Okay, so after sanding and staining, I still cannot get these two burned spots out of the top. I honestly might have made it worse by trying to fix it, honestly. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead, I'm going to paint the top of this with the chalk paint that I purchased. And then when I distress it, I'm just going to make sure to distress kind of around those areas so that what I'll distress will be probably more of the edges of the table and maybe a little bit here and there on the top, but I'm going to try to keep these bad areas covered with the chalk paint. I've also decided that I am going to do a white base coat. I'm just going to use some spray paint, sort of like I did in there, and I'm not going to hit it super hard. Like, I don't care if it is solid white. What I am wanting to do though is in the areas that I am going to distress, like the legs, maybe the side here, I'll probably do another coat around the front section, is when I distress this, I do not want to see red come through because the color I picked has a slight green tone to it, and I just don't want to have Christmas colors. So I am just going to focus on the areas that I'm going to distress more heavily than the other areas. But I'm just going to give it a light coat of white spray paint. And I chose this Rust-Oleum flat today is what I'm using. Because it was flat, I wanted it to kind of have the same finish as the chalk paint. Okay, so now that I have it sprayed like I want it, I'm actually going to start on the back. This is the paint that I am using. This is Dixie Belle paint. I get it at my local antique store. I chose the color Spanish Moss because the sample made it look a little green, a little brown, a little gray. I don't know. We're going to see how we like it. I am not super committed to a color. I just need it to go with my walls, which are plain gray. And then we have a lot of wood and furniture, wood furniture in our house, and then just like wood floors and stuff. So this is what I'm going to try. I'm going to start on the back so that if I totally mess it up, it won't be too bad. So here is the first coat. This paint actually has been pretty easy so far. It is a little thick, but that doesn't really bother me because I tend to drip paint. So I'm really excited. This is, like I said, just the first coat. I'm definitely going to do a second coat while it's upside down, and then I will flip it over and paint it from the other direction. For right now, I am going to leave this underneath red and red. I'm not going to stress about it right this second because I want to make sure I have enough paint to finish the table. I think I will, considering the coverage was so good, but I just want to make sure before I start painting things that people really won't see. So here's the progress so far. I'm going to let it dry probably overnight before I attempt a second coat on it. It's almost dinner time, and I just want to make sure it dries really well. So this has all dried. I ended up putting 2 coats on the bottom and the legs and everything. But I only put 1 coat of paint on the top of this table because I actually want to distress this quite a bit. Other than the 2 areas that I kind of goofed sanding too much, where I was trying to get rid of the burn spots and, lesson learned, I really do like the wood top of this. And so I am going to use a kitchen sponge is what I have seen is a good option. The scrubby side kind of gives you more of those lines for distressing. The soft side would just kind of wipe things away more. But I am just going to start scrubbing, and then hopefully we can get the top where we like it. So we'll see. Okay, so after I finished distressing the top yesterday, I went ahead and I did a second coat of paint on some of the other areas that needed another coat, like here on the bottom. I am not going to distress this section because this we use as a bookshelf, and so it's already going to have enough stuff kind of rubbing on it anyways. So I'm going to leave this section solid. But what I'm going to work on today is distressing like these edges, this edge, probably some of the legs here. And then I'm also going to work on distressing the drawers and the cabinet doors, because once I get everything distressed the way I want it, then I have to seal it with wax. And that is actually going to add another layer of color and dimension to it. So let's get to distressing. see, I just did some light distressing across the front here. I've hit the sides of the legs a little bit. And then I did decide that the bottom, like the front of the shelf, needed just a little bit. But I'm not gonna go too heavy with it because like I said, we actually really use that and I think it's gonna be distressed over time. And then I did come in here to take a little bit more off. And originally I didn't want the red to come through, and here I think I just got a little aggressive, but I honestly don't mind it in little bits and pieces because I think it just gives it a little bit more character and almost makes it look like it's gone through a few different owners. And you know, now I finally have gotten this really cool looking piece. So now we're going to work on the drawer fronts and the doors. Okay, so I've let everything dry. I haven't distressed as much as I think I'm going to distress it. So now it's time for the wax. I actually bought some dark brown wax because I wanted to add a little bit of age to it. But one of the recommendations from the owner of the store that I purchased all of my supplies from was that I actually should do a clear wax coating first and then just add the dark wax in certain areas where I want to add that shading. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am just using up, I have an old I don't know if this will focus. It's Minwax. It is a paste finishing wax. I've had this jar for years. I love it because when you use it, it goes a long way. And so like I said, I haven't bought one of these in forever. And then I did get the Dixie Belle brown wax, and I'm going to use that in certain spots. I think I actually might test this on the back of the piece without the clear wax, just to see what the look is. Since this is like an entryway table, no one's gonna see the back, so it's not gonna be like a huge deal. So I think I may test this and then we'll go from there. So I did a test patch on this leg, and I just started with the dark wax. I didn't do the clear wax first, and it actually isn't as dark as I was worried it was gonna be. So I think what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the 4 legs with the dark wax first, and then I will do the rest of it with clear, and I may go back and add some dark. Number 1, if you plan on distressing your piece heavily, I would absolutely try to stick to 1 coat of paint versus 2 coats of paint. You could also possibly thin down the paint to do 2 thinner coats, but there was a huge difference when I was distressing those 2 different types. My second tip would be to have a bucket of water for rinsing your sponge and a wet rag for wiping in between. The sponge just didn't wipe enough for me to clearly see the distressing level. Next, I would absolutely recommend having some fine grit sandpaper to get some thicker paint up. It will go under the paint, however. So originally I didn't want the red paint to show, but the sandpaper did end up pulling off some of the white spray paint. It was fine, but if you're really picky about it, I would be careful. I used 120 grit sandpaper on my project. The next tip is that wax or sealer is a must. This paint will not last a long time if it is not properly sealed. I loved using the wax. It gave me an opportunity to play with finishes, and I ended up just doing all dark wax instead of the layering like was originally recommended. Finally, to me, the best part of this was that this paint is washable. Before it's sealed, if you aren't happy, you can absolutely wash it off and start over.